What's going on, guys? We're going to do things a little bit differently today because on Talking Smack last night, the Miz delivered what was probably the best promo since CM Punk's pipe bomb, and I'd even go so far as to say that it was better than that promo. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to kind of gloss over SmackDown, I mean even more so than I normally do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the bullet points, the highlights of what I thought was the best parts of the show, which honestly in itself isn't going to be easy because I thought SmackDown was fantastic this week, but the meat of this video is definitely going to be spent on the pipe bomb. So without further ado, my name is Eric. Welcome to SmackDown Live Reactions, first thing in the morning. SmackDown Live kicks off this week with Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon unveiling both the WWE tag titles as well as their women's championship for the SmackDown brand. I'm not going to spend too much time on what the belts actually look like because I don't really think it matters. What's important is what's going on in the ring. I will say, however, that I really do like the tag titles. I feel that the silver and blue complement each other really well, and they just look like a really solid title. That's all I'm going to say about them because honestly, like I just stated, it really doesn't fucking matter what they look like. Shane McMahon announces that at Backlash there will be a women's six-pack challenge to crown the first ever WWE SmackDown Women's Champion. And then Daniel Bryan announces that there will be a tag team tournament that will culminate at Backlash to crown the first ever WWE SmackDown Tag Team Champions. As far as the tag team tournament, that kicked off live on SmackDown. The first match was between the Usos and the Ascension, who had a pretty solid match. I thought the Ascension actually looked pretty good. I am not really a fan of theirs, but I thought they looked pretty good in this match. But in the end, the Usos picked up the win, and they move on to the next round of the tournament. The second matchup we got for the tag team tournament on this week's edition of SmackDown featured the American Alphas versus Breezango, who had a fantastic match. Breezango sort of came out of nowhere and became one of the most entertaining tag teams in the WWE right now, in my opinion, and they put on a great show with the Alphas. In the end, the Alphas hit the Grand Amplitude, so they move on as well. Little side note here about the SmackDown Live tag team division. I feel it's probably the strongest division WWE has had in quite some time. There aren't a plethora of teams in the actual division, but I feel like the teams that are involved in the tag team scene right now on SmackDown Live have all stepped up their game and have been giving us some really solid matches. So that's really encouraging to see because I've always been a fan of tag team wrestling, and the more teams involved in this, I think the better. The division is just rock solid right now. A bunch of really great talents, and I can't wait to actually see how this tournament develops and where it goes after that. Carmella and Nikki Bella were supposed to have a match this week on the show, but before it could even get started, Carmella, showing a mean streak I honestly didn't know she had in her, completely dominated Nikki Bella and even hit her finisher on her, which in wrestling is the greatest insult. I really haven't been a fan of Carmella since she's been called up, but with this mean streak that she showed this week, I'm interested. I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes and how she evolves as a character. Great stuff all around. On the lighter side of things, we had Heath Slater, who interrupted the opening segment and demanded to be included in the tag team tournament. Shane McMahon reluctantly agreed with two conditions. One, well, he'd have to find a partner, and two, him and his partner would have to win the entire thing in order for Heath Slater to win a contract on SmackDown. This led to some pretty fun segments backstage where Slater was looking for a partner without much success until Rhino came out of nowhere and agreed to be Slater's tag team partner, so they're included in the tournament. And personally, I honestly hope that they win the entire thing, so that means we get to see Slater each and every week on SmackDown. I've been a fan of Slater's for a long time, and it's nice that he's been kind of getting some TV time and what seems to be somewhat of a push. I just really hope he doesn't become 2016 Zack Ryder and his momentum is just taken away from him, because I feel like he's been there long enough to deserve this push, and I really hope he does find success with Rhino as a tag team in this tournament. We got a backstage segment with Shane McMahon, and he was asked if he think that Stephanie really took what Brock Lesnar did to him at SummerSlam seriously, to which he responded that she fined him $500 and that no, he obviously doesn't think she's taking it seriously, but he also goes on to say that the issue between him and Brock is far from over, so we'll have to stay tuned to see how this develops. And finally, that brings me to the new face that runs the place, AJ Styles, coming off what was very easily the match of the night at SummerSlam and a match of the year contender, in my opinion, against John Cena. Now, the show kicked off with Ziggler and Styles having an issue. Ziggler attacking AJ not once but twice. Daniel Bryan decided that he had seen enough and he made a match as the main event for SmackDown Live, Dolph Ziggler versus AJ Styles. Now, there was a couple stipulations here. If AJ won, he would become the sole #1 contender for Dean Ambrose's WWE Championship. If Dolph Ziggler won, he would be added to the main event at Backlash, and the match would become a triple threat. Styles and Ziggler put on a fantastic match to cap off this excellent SmackDown Live. Both men went back and forth. You could really see Ziggler fighting here, showing off an aggressive side right off the bat, but in the end, it simply wasn't enough to take down what is, in my opinion, the best wrestler in the world, AJ Styles, as he picked up the win and became the sole #1 contender for Dean Ambrose's WWE Championship at Backlash. And then Smack Talk happened. Holy shit. Before I get into what I think of the promo, I want to give a quick shout out to Drew, to Rocky, and to Amanda, who tweeted this to me and said that I had to include it because I was going to film this last night, but then I quickly looked at Twitter before I started filming, saw this, and decided to wait so I could include it. Their Twitter handles will be in the description. Go give them a follow. Now, if you haven't seen the promo, I have left a link in the description. Pause this video, go check it out, and then come back because honestly, holy shit, what a promo. Now, in a nutshell, Daniel Bryan said that he was more impressed by Apollo Crews at SummerSlam than The Miz. Now, The Miz took offense to this, but didn't take offense to it as much as what happened after Daniel Bryan called him a coward. The Miz absolutely lost his shit and went on to cut one of the greatest promos I think I've ever heard. I see a lot of people comparing it to CM Punk's pipe bomb, but in my opinion, it was better than that. The Miz showed tremendous passion, and you could honestly feel like this has been something that's been bubbling up, how people say he's irrelevant and that he doesn't deserve to be in the WWE, which to me is absolute nonsense, and his promo right here completely proved that point for me. It was one of the most intense, one of the most real feeling moments in WWE recent history. I absolutely love it. Now, a couple of things that he said were how Daniel Bryan made a promise when he relinquished the IC title that in a year's time he would come back and that he would regain that championship, then never did because he was forced to retire due to his medical condition. Upon hearing this, Daniel Bryan looked right into the camera and pointed at it and said, "If they would let me, I would come back." And just the way he said it, fuck, it broke my heart. You can tell this guy is still not over the fact that he can't do what he loves, and I just felt like it added so much realism to it. It was absolutely fantastic. That brings me to the burning question. Was it a work or was it a shoot? Now, honestly, when I first watched the promo, I was left absolutely speechless. As unbelievable as that sounds, it's 100% true. I didn't know what to make of it, and if you ask me, that is when professional wrestling is at its peak. When you watch something and you absolutely have no idea if it was real or if it was just part of the script. I think that this segment completely achieved that, as the discussion on Twitter is so back and forth. Was it a work? Was it a shoot? Everybody has an opinion. My personal opinion, I think it was part of the show, but I don't think it was entirely scripted that way. In fact, I don't think it was scripted that way at all. I think The Miz was talking from the heart. I think there's some frustration there with how he's viewed, and I think he just got a lot off his chest, and it led to one of the greatest moments in WWE history, in my opinion. I think when people look back on The Miz's career, it won't be his WWE Championship win at WrestleMania that defines his career. It'll be this promo. I think if the WWE is smart, they will run with this and they will push The Miz even more because he's doing a great job at making that IC title relevant. And after that promo, Jesus Christ, what a time to be alive! What do you guys think about The Miz's promo? What are your opinions on it, your thoughts? I'd love to have a discussion with you guys about it, so leave me a comment and we'll talk about it. So there you have it, guys, my SmackDown Live reactions for the week. Now I'll be back to my regular format next week. I just kind of wanted to condense the show this week so I could talk about the Miz's promo without making the video too long. SmackDown is quickly establishing itself as the A show in the WWE, in my opinion. That 2-hour runtime really leaves no room for filler, and pretty much all the show from top to bottom this week was really, really good. I'm very excited to see where the SmackDown Live roster goes, where the show goes. Oh, and by the way, that new set for SmackDown, fucking awesome. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. It really does help the channel. If you want to join the Broski Club, hit that subscribe button. Go follow me on Twitter at MTLBroski for all the latest first thing in the morning news. Go give the Facebook fan page a like at facebook.com/FTITM. Go check out my broskies over at kayfabetoday.com for all kinds of great wrestling related content, as well as our podcast. And until next Wednesday morning, guys, these have been my SmackDown Live reactions first thing in the morning.